7:42 now. As we conclude Black History Month, we wanted to take a moment to recognize the tremendous history of some Black Washingtonians here in our state. We wanted to approach this history plainly, acknowledging that Washington is an overwhelmingly white state. But when it comes to the impact Black residents have had here, it's simply profound. It is a history that some know, but many don't, and a history that continues to change even to this day. With history, there's always a starting point.
Well, when you're talking about Black history, even in the Pacific Northwest, it always starts with the enslavement of Africans and Black people from Africa, starting here.
To help us navigate that history,
Nigeria, even as far as Ethiopia.
We talked with Jason Turner, education coordinator for the Northwest African American Museum in Seattle. Jason says a major part of Black history here in Washington can be traced to a man from Missouri looking to escape racism, George Washington Bush.
And so in 1844, hoping to get away from all that, George Washington Bush heads along the Oregon Trail,
eventually ending up in southern Washington state as a fur trader.
Well, as far as Tumwater and Olympia are concerned, he was one of the first people to settle in that area, period. So, but yes, he is considered one of the first African Americans to settle in Washington state.
The first noted Black business owner in Washington is William Gross, a man who joined the Navy, traveled around the world, and gained wealth during the gold rush in California, eventually freeing slaves himself and settling in Washington.
He was the first Black entrepreneur in Seattle and opened up a hotel.
In the 1940s and World War II, Seattle saw a boom in population. After all, the jobs were here.
They started becoming employed by industry like Boeing, and some of them were working on railroads as porters.
Between 1940 to 43, Seattle went from 3,700 Black residents to 7,000, doubling its Black population. Bremerton went from just 77 to 2,000 during that same time frame.
And so I wanted to show you some of the iconic musicians.
At the same time, Seattle's jazz scene came to life in the area now known as the Chinatown International District. The likes of Ray Charles, Quincy Jones performed here, and one homegrown artist born and raised in Seattle gained traction as well.
Every morning finds me moaning, yes, Lord, I'm alone and crying the blues.
And Ernestine Anderson started off very young and launched her career in the 50s here in Seattle and was produced by Quincy Jones.
One of the great American painters, Jacob Lawrence, became widely known for his paintings of African American history with his paintings of Black migration, ultimately becoming a professor at the University of Washington in 1971.
One of those people being Barbara Earl Thomas, who was one of his understudies and was also one of the first executive directors here at NAM.
And then,
of course, there's the iconic Jimi Hendrix.
Born in Seattle in 1942, James Marshall Hendricks, or Jimmy, started playing guitar as a teenager.
Jimmy grew up right here in the central area and went to Garfield High School.
But Jason tells us despite the rich history, the tech boom that started in the 80s and more recent gentrification brought more non-Black residents to the state.
And unfortunately, a lot of Black people didn't see they weren't able to grasp hold of opportunity here.
During the 80s, Seattle's Black population was around 10%. That hovers now just above 4%. But Turner holds out hope.
There are many organizations in the central area now who are reclaiming the Central District. They are reclaiming, there are Black organizations that are reclaiming buildings.
To make history once again.
Take those lessons to develop opportunities for the future for the Black community.
Now, obviously, this is just a snippet of the overall history of some Black Washingtonians, with more history in the making right now, as we mentioned. As for the museum itself, it is still temporarily closed, but there are still traveling exhibits, virtual tours, and there's even plans for expansion in the near future.